Is that okay with you guys?
I'm good with whatever.
No,
Give me the one that keeps.
no, I have the broken one. They suggested I switch it out with you.
Oh my God, the seat's so good.
I know, you gotta raise them up a little bit.
Yeah, they're all super
A little
low.
handle like the right side.
Is this right or
You
the
gotta
other
stand
right,
up.
Jan? You know, I have two. I do what now? Yes, I do need help.
See, I wasn't on my phone. Making fun of me the entire time. Can we get the recognition done first?
Get the venue.
Oh my God. Huh? I know, we're all waiting.
Good.
Our seats are all way down. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It's always nice to have so many students in the audience. It makes it extra special for us. So that's always a great thing to start with. The first thing we'd like to do, the board would like to recognize former graduate Hannah Strain for her recent FFA award at National Convention Agricultural Proficiency Awards honor FFA members that through supervised agriculture experience have developed specialized skills that they can apply toward their future careers. Proficiency awards are judged at the local, area, state, and national levels. Hannah's SAE includes working for the Elk Prairie Farms, LLC, on a beef cattle operation that focuses on forage production. Hannah applied for a proficiency award in the area of forage production in February of her senior year, and she won the area FFA contest. Her application then advanced to the Missouri FFA state contest, where she again won first place at the Missouri FFA state competition in April of 2018. Her application then advanced to the national level, and 4 national finalists were selected from the 50 state winners, and Hannah was one of the 4 national finalists in the area of forage production. Only, and we discussed this at a meeting, 0.00026% of the FFA membership make it as a proficiency finalist. As a national finalist, her application advanced, and Hannah was required to participate in an interview at the National FFA Convention in October. During the 91st National FFA Convention, the 4 finalists were on stage when Hannah was announced as the winner. Hannah received a $500 cash award and a plaque as a finalist, and another $500 cash award and plaque as the winner. Congratulations to Hannah and the FFA chapter, the Rolla FFA chapter. So Hannah, if you would please come down. What an honor. And I'm sorry it wasn't $5,000.
Oh, but that's all right. Thank you. I guess I would just say that, okay.
And then if any of her instructors would like to come down also, we would love to have you all come down and say something too. And get a picture. Right, and mom and dad, and sure.
We brought the whole crew.
Brought the whole crew, okay.
I guess I would just say it was really an honor to work through the Rolla FFA chapter and the Rolla Public Schools to earn this award, to be the first one in our chapter. It's really quite an honor and something that we all worked for, and I felt the support across the board here, and so I really appreciate that, and thank you all for asking me to be here tonight and for recognizing me. I really appreciate that.
Tell us what you're up to now.
Currently, I'm at Mizzou studying agriculture. Just got done with finals,
Yeah.
so it's been a crazy week, but I love it up at Mizzou, so ag it is for me and communications, so we'll see.
Very good. Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
you guys
Mr.
want
G.
to come down and get another
Please
picture?
do, yes.
Mom, Dad?
And mom and dad, they need to come on down.
Auntie Jeannie.
Oh, yes. Oh, Auntie, Taylor, Auntie Jeannie, the whole crew. I agree.
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's quite an honor, Hannah. We sure think that's great. You did Rolla well with that wonderful national award. And thank you for coming back, getting home from finals and coming. The Rolla Board of Education would also like to recognize Casey Neiswanger for winning the state HOSA design project. HOSA stands for Health Occupation Science Academy. Her design will be used for all Missouri HOSA t-shirts, pins, and the Missouri banner that will be at both the state and international contests this year. Casey's a student at St. James High School, but attends this class through the Sending School program. Rebecca Boland is her HOSA instructor. So, Casey, would you come down? And also, Ms. Boland, would you please come down? Congratulations. Oh, yeah, beautiful.
So, like they said, Casey comes to us from St. James School District. She was part of the Health Science Academy and joined HOSA. We actually had 4 members of our academy enter the design contest. There was about 20 designs across the state that were voted on. From the words of our state advisor, Casey won in a landslide for that design. So it's really exciting. And it will represent Rolla. This is the 2nd year in a row that a Rolla student has won this honor. So we're really excited for her. She's a great joy to have, and we're very thankful that we get the opportunity to work with our St. James schools and our 10 sending schools. So we're very thankful to have her, and we thank you for letting us have our Health Science Academy and bring them in. But it's quite an honor for her. I know she'll be recognized at our state competition that's held here over spring break. But it's very exciting for her. So, is there anything? She really doesn't.
Well, I'm thankful to have, be able to, get recognized tonight and be able to, use my art in my future. And Mrs. Myers, I don't know the word, helped a lot out with that. She was, a great start with my art and stuff, and it was just really great. I'm glad I got to, I'm really bad at speaking.
You're doing fine.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. It's wonderful. The board would also like to recognize the Rolla High School Marching Band for the undefeated 2018 Fall Band Marching Season. So, Mr. Slavinsky, I believe you please come down and.
Mr. Goldschmidt, you too can help.
Okay, yes. Good evening.
Good evening. How's everybody?
Good, good.
Now you gotta talk into the microphone.
Okay, yeah, because
It
the
goes
recording,
on
I always
TV.
forget that.
Well, because it goes on TV. And I would
Gotcha.
mention, anybody that's receiving awards tonight, you can rewatch these board meetings. You can walk and stay for the whole thing if we're done.
Woo!
You can rewatch the segments. We do clip the rewards, awards, and then put them out on our YouTube channel so you can actually watch them again.
Well, thank you. I'd just like to state that the state of the band family is strong. We're so blessed. I'd just like to start it off with, every time I go anywhere, I got my hair cut this morning, and just the barber guy's like, how do you deal with all those kids? And I said, because we've got great kids. I said, you don't understand, the future of our nation is good because they are strong and they are smart. And we're blessed every day to work with so many fabulous, talented kids. And that's why we have the success that we have. The fact that these kids, I just brought the section leaders and drum majors with us. Not all of them, the ones that could make it tonight. So thank you guys for showing up. If you guys want to come up and talk, that'd be great. But they get up so early in the morning and they spend so much time. They truly have to love what they do to be successful. And usually we go to 4 to 5 marching competitions throughout the fall. And we were lucky enough this year, and we've had a good run for quite a while, but in the sports team, we were undefeated, if you want to use it in those terminologies. We always have what's called a prelims division. We're up against either classifications of bands that are of school size or band size. Well, for a school our size, we have an incredibly large band. And because of that, we usually get thrown in with 5A and 6A bands, and we've been beating them. So it's been very rewarding and very nice, a tribute to these kids. And then usually they have a finals competition that it's a free-for-all. Whoever wins their divisions goes and competes later. And we were lucky enough to come in first place everywhere that had finals this year too. So it was an undefeated season. They also have caption awards, best color guard, best drumline, best visual, best music. And we won all of them at some of them and most of them at the other ones, those caption awards too. So, and we have a fantastic booster organization that helps us. I know some of you know that, very dear and near to your, close to your heart. So it was just extremely rewarding, and we're very blessed. Mike, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I guess I will.
You bet.
I wasn't going to say much, but we this year we had over 210 kids in the marching band, which is that's a huge program for the size school that we have. Very proud of our students. They worked really hard this year, and they continue to do so year after year after year. So exciting things are in our future as well, but we're very proud of how we've performed this year and look forward to what's coming up next.
I'll add a few more things.
Make sure you want to bring them all down.
Yeah, we need to bring
you
them
want to
all
bring them all
down,
down?
yeah.
Assume the position. They can do this. We just got done with our Christmas concert. I know some of you were there. It was a wonderful concert all the way from 7th grade through our symphonic band and seniors. As I said, the state of the band department is strong. Awesome 7th graders, awesome 8th graders. They're going to be fantastic freshmen. So we're truly blessed. And, I had 4 or 5 people. It's like at the concert, the people that are younger, the parents that are younger, they're dealing with their kids and they're dealing with other things going on. What I love is the older generation that cares and comes up and talks to me at the end of concerts. I had 2 or 3 guys, at least were in their upper 70s and 80s. And hearing those type of people that have been on this earth that long with that much knowledge really appreciate the work that we're putting in and our kids are putting in, and see that determination, that is so rewarding, hearing those compliments from those older gentlemen and ladies. And they were like, you guys love what you do, don't you? And I said, yeah, we really love what we do, and our kids, I hope, are loving it as well. They seem to anyway. If not, they're good fakers. But anyway, while I'm here and you've got me on the microphone, we just had, we put about 30, 35 kids in our district bands, which is the honors band, the concert bands, and the jazz bands. And those that made the top bands were eligible to try out for the Missouri All-State Band. And making, or even coming in really close to making it, is extremely hard. I can't tell you how hard that is. I'm sure Dr. Dare knows. But it's very, very hard to get kids in there, and hard for those kids to make it. It's truly a free-for-all Missouri statewide. And this year we were blessed with having 3 students. One of them who couldn't be here, Sudata Hor, who plays tuba, he made the first alternate to the band, which is awesome. His name will be mentioned in there. Sarah Woods made the honorable mention band, so that was great. And then we had Christina that actually made the Missouri All-State Band. She'll be going and performing with that band at the end of January at the MMEA convention. So we're very proud of all of them. And then I know poor Christina there, she's been working, she made it. So she's going to have an awesome experience with that band, and we're very proud of all of them. So thank you guys.
Mr. Slowinski?
Yes.
She's got some certificates for a couple of
Right.
your kids.
Okay,
there.
come on up.
Christina, you said Sudata's not here.
Sudata couldn't make it.
And Sarah
Yeah,
will.
we'll give it to him.
Christina.
Fantastic. And Sarah.
Are you Christina?
Yeah. Congratulations. Let's see, and then Sarah, you want to open them up? These are
Mr. Slow, Mr. Goldschmidt, you guys got to get everybody together and act like you like each other.
Okay.
And so
Shorter ones, take a knee. In the back, they can do this. I'll go to one side.
I'll go over here. Scoot way in.
Here, I can go in the back. Hey man, if you got those, you can use them.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
And please do give our congratulations to the entire band. We're awfully proud of everyone. And Dan, our student rep, you're part of that. It's wonderful. So congratulations again. Thank you. Oh, and the parents. Yes, yes. Thank you. Well, that kind of cleared out. Darn.
Nobody wants to stay?
Nobody wants to stay?
Just for fun?
Okay, at this time, any person speaking question previously discussed on the presentation for the any to spend 5 minutes. Dealing with teen which must by the board of education receive information item send all items
remove chamber and
music is a contract we'll approve later.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda, removing the check as Jim requested.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same? Okay. Okay, new business, 2019-2020 calendar. Dr. Zalis will update the board on the process for setting the 2019-2020 school calendar.
Well, we had our first meeting mid-November, had a pretty good discussion. The committee that's comprised of school board members, teachers, administrators, students, 3 students, the representatives from the students, that includes Daniel, and you can certainly chime in anytime you want, almost anytime you want. The student council presidents, both junior high and high school, and we developed 2 drafts, A and B, been out on the website for some time, pushed that back out to the committee. The parents have had a chance to talk, and so we have a clear front runner right now in option B, which the only difference being starting August 14th with school and pushing the return second semester to the Tuesday, January 7th, 6th, 7th is the only other option, the only difference. Today I was at the high school with Dr. Pritchett talking to the Principals Advisory Committee, so we went through 3 lunch shifts of kids that are there to talk about the school. We did talk about the calendar, and there were no movements away from calendar B during that discussion. I just kind of explained to them how we arrive at the calendar, what the parameters are statutorily, and what we have embedded in, the number of hours we go, et cetera, and what the impact of inclement weather days does. And I would add, someone asked, and so we were able to determine in the last, since the last 10 years, we've missed Martin Luther King. We've been able to take that off a little over half the number, 6 times. So someone said, well, we never get to take off Martin Luther King or President's Day because we always have snow. That's not true. So it's been about a 50-50 proposition with Martin Luther King Day, and then I think we've been in session 6 times for President's Day in the last 10 years. So we used 2 days last year, inclement weather, I believe, and our average is somewhere in that time. So there's 6 built in. So we plan to have a calendar hearing scheduled for the January 3rd board meeting, so that sending schools that were mentioned, they're part of our program from both HOSA and AG, that we have those sending schools are able to adjust their calendars. I get an email every day from a superintendent from one of those asking when our calendar is going to be approved. So happy to answer any questions. Mr. Froelich and Mrs. Haskell are on the committee. Daniel is too. So did I cover it? Okay. There's no conspiracy to give the kids and everybody what they want.
Well, I think like some people on the committee were surprised that there are certain things that have to be done. You know, there have to be certain number of snow days in the school year, and there have to be a certain number of hours in the school year, and those kinds of things. So when you kind of start working with all that, you want to have finals before Christmas and have the kids out before Memorial Day, you know, there's not a lot of things you can really change about the school calendar.
There's been some statute changes for next year to give school districts more flexibility, because it's all now hours-based, but ours has been hour-based for another number of years. So we choose to make up snow days and choose to go above the state minimum, which is a conversion from what our past calendars have been to the current one. So we go about 1,136.5 hours, I believe, is the exact number, and the state minimum is 1,044. So we feel like more time with kids is better, and instead of reducing the time. So they don't even care if you're a 4-day a week. You don't have to declare you're a 4-day a week next, you know, as part of the next calendar. They just care you get the number of hours. So that calendar is it always adheres to the universities. Any community, what I was telling the students today, every community has the kind of calendar they want to have based upon the community. So if you live in Sedalia, you're going to get impacted by the state fair. If you're at Lake of the Ozarks, you're going to get businesses that want you to start as late as possible, and they do, so they can capture the tourism dollars. And if you're in St. James, the Grape Festival may impact your calendar. So every community has their own flexibility, and ours happens to be the university with spring break, which we've been able to protect in all the years that I've been here. So that's that.
All right, very good.
Probably more than you wanted to know.
All right, course description book. The 2019-2020 course description book is submitted for the board approval. Mr. Hounson will comment on changes to the book.
So with the close of first semester, we start already looking ahead to next year. And at the high school, what that means is starting the scheduling process with the students as they sign up for classes at the high school and RTI and RTC. So this time of year, we come to you asking for your approval of changes that we've made to the course description book and college and career planning guide. I've got a draft here. If you have high school students, you've probably seen this either come home or online. We post both of them. But just a little about the book. So the process for making these revisions begin in September. We have meetings, all of these department chair lead meetings at the high school at RTI and RTC to talk about what they're offering within their department. They make any recommendations then to their principals, who then bring all of that information to me. We look through it, talk through any questions or concerns, send the information back out to the teachers on any changes or questions we might have. And that goes back and forth until about November. By November, we kind of have a handle on any new classes that we may be offering or courses that we may be removing for whatever reason. But all of that goes on in the fall with the goal of offering classes that students need, offering classes that students will sign up for, and creating a flow within all of our programs that makes sense and allow kids to prepare themselves for the next step, whether it's career or college. We want a wide variety of classes for students to choose from. Changes this year are pretty few. With the transition we made last year with moving 9th grade to the high school, we made a lot of changes at that time. This year we have just a few small recommendations. First of all, in the science department, basically we would like to swap out and begin offering a class biology 2 and remove physical science. Now, the reason for adding biology 2, the only step we had beyond introductory biology, it jumped all the way up to the advanced placement level. And the kids that we were getting in there are science kids, kids that are going to college to focus on science. Science department felt like we needed another step of students who wanted more study in biology, but maybe aren't true science majors. And at the AP class, there needed to be something in between our introductory biology and the AP biology. So they've proposed offering biology too. Physical science for many years was the other class offered at the 9th grade level other than 9th grade biology. And really that's the purpose it served, was to give students an option at the 9th grade level. Since they've moved to the high school and the entire science department is opened up, the content of physical science is covered within our other courses, and it was just a course that the science department and high school believed no longer served a major purpose for us, that the biology too was a better option to put in the book. In the math department, we would trade out we would add conceptual statistics and remove conceptual algebra 2. The conceptual track is one to give kids real life skills to enter a career right after high school, or maybe some post-secondary school, but probably not a 4-year university. We try to give kids real life math skills that they can apply on their job as soon as they leave high school. We have a conceptual algebra 1. The thought was that conceptual algebra 2 was a bit repetitive, and we did not have anything in the conceptual track to teach students about basic statistics, probability, and just that type of math. So they felt like this made a stronger track for us in the math department and removed some repetition that conceptual algebra 2 was giving us. Introduction to Architecture is a class we'll offer at RTI for 9th and 10th graders. It's an introductory level class for students who may have interest in drafting and design later on as a junior and senior. It will be a heavily technology-based class, using the software, the design software, introducing them to those programs. And again, it's a feeder class into our design class later on at the junior and senior level. And then we've talked about launch online courses quite a bit. We will put in a information sheet about launch online courses to let students know more about those options. We did not have launch at this time last year when we did the course description book, so we're putting it in now for the first time. So those are all of the changes. Typically we have a few pages, but that's it. Any questions about any of those, either new courses or courses that we would propose to remove?
Craig, you said something about there wasn't something after Biology 1, but I was thinking there was something that students could take, like for the Missouri Scholars Scholarship, there's instead of taking physics, there's another.
Chemistry?
Could be some anatomy and physiology, maybe.
And physiology, that's what
So yeah, this was more of just a pure biology course, and
so they'll still have the anatomy.
yes, that will all. The only change from courses that we offered currently right now are these changes right here.
Great.
And how many online courses are there offered? Approximately?
Approximately 100.
Oh, really? And students can take how many per semester?
Well, we believe our
Good
seated.
question?
We believe our seated courses are better than an online version.
I agree.
But we think the online classes fit a need for those who have a life situation that maybe doesn't allow full-time attendance, or their schedule is perhaps full and they want to do an additional course. So I guess students could go full online. Typically what we see are students, I guess typically may not be the right word. We have dabbled our toe in it during this semester, so it's not widespread yet. But the students that have taken it, there has been something that has not allowed them to either take a full schedule with us, or they wanted to take a course to maybe get ahead a credit and take an additional course. So we saw more use of it over summer school. We will offer it a wider variety of classes this coming summer. But that summer school, and then just a few issues here and there. We have had some homeschool students come to us and take some classes through us, through launch, but we'll see how widespread it is or not.
Thank you. Okay,
Just a quick little points here about classes we offer at the high school, just some highlights. I've listed here all of the classes that you can take at just Rolla High School for dual credit. In other words, if you take these classes and start earning credit in college, we have dual credit agreements with Drury, Missouri Baptist, Missouri S&T, Ozark Technical College, and Missouri State through all of these various programs, which is a really nice feature for our students because the price of these credits in dual credit is not as much as they would pay when they enter college as a freshman.
It's a lot less.
It's a lot less. That's correct. So that's a nice feature. Classes so 27 classes at the high school, 15 classes listed for dual credit over at RTI and RTC. Their agreements are with East Central, Missouri State, and Ozark Technical College. And then also we continue to have a strong selection of classes for our advanced placement classes. 14 advanced placement classes in every program area at Rolla High School to allow students access to advanced level courses. So we think we have a strong program. We think we offer a strong selection of classes, and that will let students take whatever route is best for them and whatever route they wish to take. So next steps, if you approve this tonight, we will print a little over 1,000 copies of this over Christmas break. We do put one in the hands of every student. We also post them online. And then when we return, the junior high and high school will begin their scheduling process, which is important for us as a district because as we come to you with some staffing requests and figure out staff for next year, we need to know what our needs are at the junior high and high school as far as what students are wanting to take. So that will all kick up pretty quick as we return from second semester. So tonight I would ask for approval to these changes as they are presented. And if so, then we will start these next steps.
All right. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve the changes Craig's shared with us tonight.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that.
Okay, there's been a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Okay, now if we go to the music approval, it's time to renew our insurance coverage with Missouri United School Insurance Council. Dr. Dare will present the information.
Okay. Missouri United School Insurance Council, of course, is a consortium that we belong to for our property liability and workman's comp insurance primarily. There are other benefits, and we'll talk a little bit about those. Just a little background, started in 1985. There are currently 475 members, just over that actually, I think. Most of those are public schools in Missouri, but there are some community colleges and education associations affiliated with that as well. To use this thing right. I'm sure over the last year or several years, you've talked about the cyber coverage piece. This is new for this year. It is included in our overall cost, so it's not a separate coverage. And so what has happened there is enough schools were taking that coverage that the cost analysis was coming in that they could offer it to everyone at a cheaper rate. So the number of covered people. So we are covered there. Basically what that provides, amongst other things, but it provides us some cushion, about a $2 million coverage for accidental loss or disclosure of private information. So school districts have a lot of social security numbers and birth dates on file. If we were to be hacked, we have some coverage for the process after that. So looking at our premiums, you will see that we have taken a little bit of a jump. Last year was a very good year. And so just talk through a little bit of these in big detail, and of course I can answer any questions. Property and equipment, you'll see a little bit of an increase there. That is primarily a couple things. One is just increased square footage and property. There have been some changes in the district over the last couple of years, and those catch up with the insurance plans as they go along. The other is we made some small changes in our coverages. We have more technology in the buildings. We have cost per square footage. If something were to happen, our replacement costs for a classroom are a lot greater now than they were in the past. So we did make a few slight adjustments there. General liability went up. Honestly, that one is driven mostly by the outside market. So while this is a consortium and we pool our funds for insurance claims, there are reinsurance processes and policies out there, and those do drive costs a little bit. Buses have remained the same over time. Our school board liability has gone up a little bit. Again, that's primarily from outside influences and just the market in general. Workers' comp is a driving force in our rates and always has been. So our workers' comp usage was obviously up a little bit this past year. That is a primary factor in our premium. So we will work on that, and you know, obviously things happen, so some of that's beyond our control, but we will take some steps to work on those. And then of course our required treasurer's bond. So total premium cost for this year is $642,821. I would mention also some of the other programs that music provides for us. Probably the biggest one is the Safe Schools program. So we utilize that program. It's provided to us as part of our coverage. Provides our staff with their required coverages, or required trainings rather, for things such as bullying, suicide, sexual harassment, child abuse. There's a whole litany of things that we use that for, and so that is included in our premium cost as well.
So Kyle, are you saying they produce the videos that teachers
They do, yeah, and it's an online system, so we have tracking ability to know who has watched and who hasn't, and we can go through those, yes. So credits, the board of directors, much like our self-insured health insurance, there is a pool of premium dollars that are collected, and rather than pay them to the insurance company, they're held within the consortium. And so each year the board of directors look at that pool and look at the actuarial data to determine what has to be paid out, and then they issue membership credits if they're able to. So you can see the history there. This year they did issue an 8% credit, which is great. And so the last slide represents, gives you the numbers on that. So our full assessment and then the 8% credit amounts to just over $51,000. And so our final adjusted assessment's $591,395. And as was pointed out earlier, the check is in your packet tonight because to receive the credit, they have to receive the check by December 30. So we want to make sure that we get that taken care of. So that's a substantial amount. So at this time, I would ask for your approval for the assessment and answer any questions that you have.
I'll make the motion that we approve the renewal of the music and also the check to pay our premium.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a first and a second to approve the renewal and approve the check. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. Dare.
Thank
you. Okay, Board of Education future issues. The January board meetings are scheduled for January 3rd and the 17th of 2019.
I would just make mention on January 3rd, it will be Mr. King's last meeting with us, so he'll no longer be able to mess around with Mr. Housem there at the end of the table. Just get some things straightened out. Sorry. So Dan, at that time, you have a farewell speech to give us on January 3rd. So yes. Christmas break, I know you'll be working hard on that, and then we will have you back on the 17th to give you our well wishes and present you with a certificate, and then Ms. Reagan will administer the oath of office to our next student rep. So the end is coming, and we look forward to that. We don't look forward to that.
Yeah.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
I'm just inspired by the book of agendas he's kept. Look at that.
Yeah. Every single agenda.
Every single one.
I'm a pack rat, my mom likes
Very
to say.
impressive, yeah. Okay, go on to old business. Budget amendment. It's recommended to approve the FY 2019 budget amendments as presented by Mrs. Atkinson.
Okay. The updated budget document can be found on page 25 of your board packet. This meeting, I've chosen not to include the detail information in the packet. If anybody wants to see it, I do have a couple of copies here. So if you remember, always in the past, it's just a list of data, list of figures. So I instead opted to do a summary page. So those pages are on 26 and 27. That just summarizes the expenditures and revenue adjustments and by fund. So if you have any suggestions or would like to see something different, feel free to email me or comment this evening, and I'll adjust accordingly. So a couple of items of note are an adjustment to salaries and benefits made to accommodate the additional HVAC maintenance worker that you approved last board meeting, and also an adjustment for the purchase of the district's next building trades lot at 1217 Britt Lane. And there's a whole slew of secondary adjustments that are summarized. They include the purchase of additional basic life-saving cards and supplies in the amount of $15,000 with an increase to revenues of $25,000, and that's for the BLS Community Education Program. I also increased the capital project expenditures by $45,000, and that is for the demolition and site work at the Bar and Mark Twain properties. And our original budget projected an ending fund balance of an even 23%. As of right now, we're looking at 23.03%. So,
Hey,
right?
Work on tightening that up just a little bit.
Just a little bit more. So, and as a reminder, the ending fund balance percentage is the amount of funding available to pay our liabilities and absorb revenue shortfalls or financial emergencies.
Right.
So the board policy states that the floor for the operating fund balance is 17%, so we're still in good shape there. So do you have any questions for the adjustments? Okay. If not, I would ask that you approve the budget as amended.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the budget as amended?
I would make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a first and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, long-range facility plan, Dr. Zala?
Just want to try to look at January 3rd and the 17th. We've set those dates as our next meetings. To really start to dive in from kind of spend some time from the retreat to what our next steps are, and spend some time maybe narrowing down the scope of what our next initiative might be to move the district forward in implementing the long-range facility plan. So my recommendation would be that we take an entire meeting, save paying a few bills, whether it be the 3rd or the 17th. I think my recommendation would be the 3rd. That been working on some concept surveys, and Dr. Dare has a meeting with the architect next Monday to kind of look at some of those, deeper into some of those schematics and really pick some priorities in the district that we want to get moving. Obviously, one of the recommendations or one of the directions we could go is nowhere. I mean, it doesn't have to happen, but I think we need to kind of reach back to where we were in the fall with our retreat, kind of design some next steps. So that would be what we'd hope to get some direction from you on.
Right, so we were hoping to designate one of the January meetings as that, a good discussion about the long-range facility plan. When I talked with Dr. Zales, I thought the 3rd might be the best because we probably won't have a lot on the agenda at that meeting, probably more at the 17th, but we thought we'd better see what everybody else thinks about setting which one of those meetings to have a discussion about our long-range planning. Anyone have a?
I'm good with the 3rd.
3rd, good with the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that, Doctor?
No, we've already set the date. You've approved the date of the 3rd. We'll just plan an agenda that's nothing else on it, but whatever bills we have to pay.
Okay.
If that, and if we can't accomplish that on the 17th, then dedicate time to the long-range plan.
Right. Yeah, Daniel's closing remarks on the 3rd.
Well, yeah,
Part of that.
that's what.
That he's going to work on
90 minutes for
Christmas
that.
break.
You get all break to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whole break. Okay, great. Sounds great. Any other comments about that?
Will you be sharing anything more with us prior to that? For us to review?
I can. I've been working on a survey, as you know, but it's rough draft form, and I added a little bit to it, but I think we'll give you 5 or 6 things to mull over, and
That's a good idea.
If it ends up being 4 or 3, then we'll know what to do about options we would present to the community and what kind of conceptual drawings and budget parameters to try to work with them so we can design it. I do have a timeline built in that takes us all the way out to 21-22 school year. So yeah, we'll dive into all of that. But again, it's just there to generate discussion. Wherever we land is going to be based on our discussion. I'm just shooting that out there for that purpose.
Okay, Dan, what about, what's going on in the school district from a student's point of view?
Well,
Lots.
yeah. The biggest thing is next week we have the end of the semester. So next week is unfortunately finals week. So got a lot of studying to do over the weekend. Like mentioned before, the election for the new student representative on the board is currently going on. Winter sports are in full swing. As I think tomorrow, there's a wrestling tournament in Harrisonville, and that is tomorrow and the next day. At the elementary schools on December 17th, Mark Twain is going to be having their holiday program at noon. At Wyman, their pre-K on the 18th will have their holiday program at 9:30. And their second and third grade will be going to an S&T basketball game on the same day, I believe. Yep. Or a little later in the week, I believe, actually. Yep. Yeah.
Good luck with finals.
I'm sorry?
Good luck with finals.
Oh, I'm going to need it. Thank you.
Okay, then I know, Carla, do you want to talk about the core banquet?
Yeah, so last month, unfortunately, I failed to bring up the core honors banquet, so I apologize for that. Really just wanted to thank Dr. Zales and Dr. Pritchett and the core board. They did a fantastic job. It was a wonderful program. I'd like to thank the business, community business owners that gave a lot of donations. There was a lot of gifts, gift cards passed out to the students, which is great. I think just kudos to the kids, right? Because a lot of hard work goes in to being able to be part of that banquet. And
Our guest speaker was Kelsey Hunt. She's a 2010 graduate. She's married, but I don't remember her married name. I just remember it's Kelsey Hunt. She played basketball. Her mom works for us, has worked for us for a long time, and she's in the medical profession. So she and her husband and her mom sat at the head table. Jim was there too. It's always a really nice evening.
It always is a nice banquet.
We had more students than we've had before that were recognized, and yeah, the small business is right around the time we kick off Small Business Week, so it's good to recognize those local businesses that support CORE. So and it helps kick off the membership drive too. So it's always a great evening. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, any other board member have any comments about events going on in the school district?
I went to the retired teachers luncheon. It was really great. It's been a while since I'd seen a few of those ladies, so it was good talking with them. And then the Rolla High School Choir performed some musical Christmas tunes for them, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's always so nice. I was out of town, so I couldn't attend this year, but I always do enjoy that. And I know quite a few of us went to the
First responders
luncheon. That was very nice. The middle school, very nice event. And I think they all really appreciated that.
And there was the volunteer luncheon as well.
Yeah, that's right, the volunteer luncheon. Sounds like we've eaten ourselves through the last month.
We've had a lot to eat.
The culinary students did a wonderful job of that. Yeah, I guess it is 'tis the season. Just call your attention to the written reports and then to dates to remember. Filing has opened and it will close on January 15th. And then we do have our 2 January board meetings, and we'll do our long-range facility plan discussion at the January 3rd meeting, then our second meeting, January 17th. So I guess everybody have a lovely holiday season.
Thank you.
And do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.